Welcome back to GSTL. I am Wolf, and with me is Kaldor. Things are getting really heated up. Things looking worse and worse for MVP here. And we're only a few games away from finding out who is going to Las Vegas.
And some of the observers are just currently complaining that it's actually very, very cold right now over there.
Oh, it's not that cold. I'm like,
how would you know? You're here with me, stuck in the studio.
It's not that cold. I can tell you, man.
How?
Because it's in Jump Shield. Jump Shield's
really supernatural power. I thought you always wanted to be invisible so you could be a really naughty stalker.
No, what?
You said you wanted to be a DT, and there's only one reason why you want to be invisible.
We're going to go into the game right now.
Yep.
And then when we do, I will justify myself. Okay, let's go into the game. All right. Well,
you have to do the intro. I'm laughing.
Okay, I'll do the intro. Up here at the top left, we have our MVP player. Things are looking bad for them right now. We'll see if he can bring it back. He is.
MVP SC
currently suffers from, I think it's called pneumothorax, which is his lung condition, but he still manages to do great StarCraft play. His opponent down here looking really strong right now.
Oh yeah.
Taking out Dongre-gu. He is.
StarTale Squirtle.
Squirtle playing very well so far. In the last map, was able to defeat Dongre-gu. After all, Dongre-gu kind of misread what Squirtle was doing after this 4-gate push.
I'm really impressed.
Not able to prepare, but still.
I'm impressed by Squirtle's ability to transition out of what seemed like a lost game for him. It looked like in his position he was like, I'm just so behind, and I took my gas every time I don't have +1, I can't get +1 armor. It was a tough position to be in, but he still managed to pull it off regardless, and I'm really impressed. Now, about the Dark Templar thing, you want to ask me what unit I would like to be, and at first I said Dark Templar, but I changed my mind and said I'd like to be a Void Ray. Yeah, I remember I changed my mind and said I'd like to be a Void Ray. But if I were a DT, I would use my abilities to not do naughty things. Like what? I would actually be the guy who allowed the Protoss to expand in a DT expand situation. I could either allow the Protoss to expand by buying time and forcing scans, or I could just end the game. And I have two options. I can do it in all sorts of matchups. I can be used in the late game and the early game, also the mid game.
You're trying to save it here, and I appreciate the attempt, but I think everyone out there knows what you would actually do.
What? What would I do, Kaldor? What? You're like, I know what you'd do. Whoever was playing, you would hide the Dark Shrine, then you would just go for a DT all. And I'm like, no, Kaldor, no matter what, you can always transition to expand, unless it's PvP. Okay. I'm not the all-in type of DT. I am a variety DT. I told you. I could even become an Archon. If I found another DT, I could become an Archon, man. That's a massive unit. It can crush force fields.
How can one DT find another DT?
That's a good question, man. The first DT has to have a detector. That's the thing. Remember we discussed this. I said,
and how are you going to find an observer?
See, this is the thing. We discussed this earlier. I told you the reason why I couldn't be a DT, I think I would just not be able to do it, is because I could never go on dates. The girl would always have to bring an observer. That makes me feel uncomfortable because the observer can just see me in all of its entirety, and I don't feel comfortable with that. But with the girl, I want the girl to see me.
You don't feel you have anything to hide.
I don't feel I have anything to hide, but the observer is there, and it makes me feel like, somebody's watching me. Like, I don't want a chaperone on my date. Because if the observer can see me and she can see me, the executor can see me as well, man. I don't want the executor watching my dates. That's really weird.
I'm getting confused.
You know the executor?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of. I hope so.
The executor is the guy who controls the Protoss army, man. Did you play campaign in StarCraft 1? Yeah. Oh, okay, well, Artanis not going to go on my date. So Bunker is coming up here. This pressure
a bit too late.
Yeah, he's going to actually kill a Marine or two by the looks of things. Nice micro, though, by SC.
He will take down the... Oh, he could have taken down the SCV, and maybe he's just doing it anyways. Yes, he does. Has to save the Stalker, though. And we have the expand behind it, so a little bit of aggression coming up by Squirtle in the early game here, expanding behind it, while we also have the expansion for SC, who started without gas, went for the 1 barracks expand, and then followed up with additional barracks. The bunker at the front now gives him just a little bit of safety, because also on this map with a very huge ramp, there's always the option of the Protoss player trying to be a little bit aggressive and trying just to force his way up this ramp, but this is not what's going to happen here.
I have a thought. You know, we were talking a lot earlier, double gates being added here is going to go up to 3. He may add a 4th one, while we wait to see. Here's a question. Can a DT see himself if he doesn't have an observer? Like, if he looks at himself in the mirror, what does he see? Does he see what's behind him, just like, as if there's nobody there? Or does he see the silhouette of the DT? That's the question. Does he see himself?
I have no idea.
It's hard to say,
I'm just
man.
thinking about it. It's like StarCraft philosophy 2.1.
Because if you're a DT, when you're growing up, oh, he's going to go for a 6-gate here. It looks
Yeah,
like.
look at this.
Well, actually, only 5 gateways, but still, it's a really nice pressure move.
That's actually not what I really expected here.
Yeah,
but
me
it's
neither.
very, very interesting to see that Squirtle is going to completely commit to this.
If he hits with it before Stim is done, which it's oftentimes the case, it's the best way to execute this type of build, and there's only one bunker in play for SC, he will die, for sure.
Yep. He has to scout this. He has to scout it kind of early, and I don't think that he's in a position to do so. He doesn't even hold one of the Salnaga watchtowers, and I'm not sure that he's going to sacrifice a scan for this. So
The pylon placement is really good as well. He can't see it. Even if he had a building on the high ground next to it, he would not be able to spot it.
this could become really, really scary.
Yeah, this actually...
Look at all these sentries that he already has.
This is already
6
scary, man.
sentries
6 sentries with no force fields used on them. He's got so much energy. And now SC somehow knows, he just has sensed it. He's pulled SCVs even. He's getting a second bunker. He knows what's up. Now, one thing he could potentially have noticed was that no observer has flown to his base. If he has been looking for that, he sees, okay, there's no observer here. It's got to be a timing attack.
Oh,
now he's actually going to go for it. The second bunker is not up. Force field's going down.
Here. Nice Guardian Shield active as well. The SCV is trying to get into position to repair the bunker, but not there fast enough. And the second bunker is not going to finish. Maybe now as the second SCV takes over. And he is repelling this attack already. Wow.
Yeah, really nice repel there by SC. And he's got more units coming out. His production has powered up. Unfortunately, his opponent forced to go home, adding double gases now as a transition. Combat shields are done, Stim is almost done, and when Stim finishes, he'll even have a timing to move out and pressure his opponent. Double forges going up now, as well as a robo. Looks like Squirtle now a little bit on the back foot.
Yeah, he didn't do a lot of damage. I actually expected him to do a lot more damage to SCS, but there was only one bunker. His force fields were decent, but in the end there were just way too many units per SC. And I'm really impressed by his ability to hold here. This attack was not easy to hold off. And now Squirtle is getting double forge, he's getting the robotics, but we have Stim done, we have Concussive Shell, and a decent army for SC. He has the supply lead in army supply, and just look at it, we have 41 army supply against 20. This is getting really, really horrible for Squirtle here.
And SC is a smart player, and any smart Terran would know that after an attack like that, his opponent either went up to 5 or 6 gateways, and even if he did it off of 4, after the attack failed as badly as it did, I mean, it started to work, but things spiral out of control when the Terran starts to win that type of battle, so he lost all of his units because of concussive shells. You can't really retreat. He knows his opponent now is trying to tech, and he can't tech and make an army at the same time, so this is a great timing to move out and attack. I really like this by SC. It's such a smart choice. It's very... Any Terran would want to do this. He scans. He's going to try to run in here. He doesn't stim.
I like
the force field slightly missed here, so he may have to use another one.
I like that he does not completely commit to the stim here. That's a really smart choice in my opinion. He just plays it a little bit more cautious, starts to use his timing, and just forces force field without losing too many units.
And he's still killing units. Yeah, he's still killing units. And only one more row of force fields available here, it looks like. But he's not doing it immediately,
and now he's committing, trying to go up here, using his stim, taking down all these zealots that start to engage, and of course also the units behind the force fields can attack, and there's not a lot left. When the force fields are gone, he can completely take down the sentries, and he does.
He does, and Pro's being pulled here. There is an Immortal. That Immortal may be able to kill 2 Marauders, but this game is over. SC dropping the Mule as his way of saying it is the end. All these units very low on hit points, but the damage just cannot... want to reach its targets.
It is
too much
so
firepower.
much damage, even if he's able to repel this. So many harvesters have died, 22 in total already, and he is just dancing here, making sure that he takes down sentries and stalkers. The Immortal is gonna die. No, it's actually not. He's focusing the sentries because they are in this situation a lot easier to kill.
Now that there are 2 medevacs out, each unit practically has its own personal healing ship.
Look at the harvest account, 46 against 31, and obviously also the mules. He's getting +1 attack upgrade, kind of getting even with his opponent in upgrades, at least for now. And this attack did so much damage. It didn't outright kill Squirtle, but Squirtle is now on half the supply of his opponent. And we have the tech units for SC as well, with the first 2 medivacs, 2 additional ones are joining fairly soon. And that's the GG as Squirtle realizes this is over. He can't do anything anymore to come back to this game.
Yeah, I'm like, Caldor, you said it didn't outright kill him, but let's be honest, it outright killed him.
Yeah, he kind of did.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you defend any sort of 4, 5, 6 gate aggression, 7 gate, whatever you want, but any sort of aggression with no tech from a Protoss, and if your opponent kills, he makes like 6 gateways and he attacks you, but then he like goes, oh, okay, I can't win this, and he goes away, he like loses 1 zealot, then he's okay. He has to transition. He's a little bit behind, but if you lose all of your units and you don't have any tech, then there's a great opportunity to counterattack.
And it's just so hard to transition out.
Ace looks a little bit silent now. Now, of course, this is actually a 3D tournament, so some people don't know. Oh, I see one of the guys that came to the studio earlier.
Yeah, I think so.
So, okay, so I'm glad he made it to the to the LG center down there. That's pretty awesome to see. My monitor actually was in 3D when I came here today. I didn't know what to do. I was like, am I crazy or is that not quite? Something here is different from everything else. It
was really funny to watch, and Wolf just trying to fix it and jumping around and trying, okay, where can I fix this? This is weird. I can't watch it like that.
I did what your grandfather might do in the situation, though.
My grandfather?
No, not your grandfather, but anyone's grandfather. I don't know what your grandfather would do. He might do the same thing, but
my grandfather has no idea how to fix this.
Well, that's what I mean. Most, the older generation, sometimes when this happens, they have the tendency to just turn off the monitor and turn it back on. I did that, and it worked.
What usually happens, for example, my grandmother I had to teach her how to write emails, and she had no clue. So what she usually do is, if something pops up, it goes away. Just turns the computer off and leaves. And then she doesn't touch it anymore. She's like, okay, I broke something, now I have to turn it off and leave. It is so funny. She doesn't even know, for example, if she misspelled a word, she kind of made like 5 spelling mistakes in a sentence, and then she wrote me, oh my god, now I just misspelled 5 words and I have no idea how to fix it. So I just won't. And then I try to explain her, okay, that this is the backspace cursor, and if you do something wrong, you can hit Control-Z, to get it back. And yeah, she kind of deleted her entire email.
Oh! Is it going to be Sauce? No, it's not. It's just a joke. It's going to be Curious.
Faking me out here. I was already so excited. I wanted to see Sasa here. I want to see Furnace.
It's going to be on Metropolis, but it looks like a different version. It's Tatoshi Light, which looks like it's the light version of Metropolis. I don't know what that means, but it looks a little bit different. It looks like a little bit brighter colored.
The thing, by the way, because we just saw Sasa, the thing with Sasa is, Sasa has one huge problem when it comes down to these games. He is so nervous. His nervousness is his biggest enemy. This is really so sad because he just crushes, for example, on ladder, or when he is just in an environment where he is kind of comfortable with, then he is so much better than when he has a lot of pressure on him. And for example, when he played the Code 8 qualifier, we talked about it, and we talked about meeting up the next day, and he messaged me before he left the StarTale house, and he was like, okay, Caldo, if you arrive, don't talk to me. Don't say hi, don't say anything. I don't mean it in a bad way, but I can't talk to you. We can talk after I won or after I'm out. I don't care. But don't talk to me before I played. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. He is really nervous in these situations. Yeah, but faking me out was definitely bad manner.
Now, in this case, Curious is the exact opposite of Sase. He never gets nervous. He is always calm and confident in his booth. He said this, I've said this like 100 times because he always says this as well in interviews. And I think it's really important to note about his playstyle and his mindset is that he removes his emotions from the booth. When he steps into that booth, he forgets about any sort of emotions, any nervousness he has, any confidence he has. He just sits down and he plays it on a game-by-game basis, which is so important. We saw... I don't know if you saw the episode, but off the record yesterday, Polt said, we asked him, what do you do when you're behind in a series? How do you keep yourself mentally prepared for that? How do you kind of calm yourself down? He said, I just pretend like I'm not behind. I play as if, I'm ahead from the beginning. Or he says, I had a plan. I want to win 3-1, so I just pretend like I'm going towards that goal no matter what. So every player has a way to kind of calm themselves down or prepare themselves mentally if they're behind in a series or if they're losing a game. But Curious, he doesn't have to do any of that because before he steps in the booth, he puts everything aside.
I really like this attitude. I actually had back a couple of years back when I was still playing in some tournaments, not, well, actual sports. One of the tricks that I always used in order to get into this mindset was just pretending the score was actually in my favor as well and just repeating the entire time while I was fighting, and that actually helped quite a lot. But the game started and we are heading into the next match, so we have a TVZ this time on